Max Verstappen, as of today, is a two-time Formula World Champion. He's known for his aggressive racing style and exceptional car control, and is regarded as one of the best drivers in F1. That feat aside, he's also managed to become one of the top sim racing drivers in the world. Sim racing, although similar in concept to real-life racing, has many differences. But despite that, Max has propelled himself to the top. He is, no doubt, at the pinnacle of motorsports in the real world and in the virtual realm. Part of the reason why Max has been able to do so is down to his driving technique. Take a look at this. Max gets an excellent start and seemingly pulls away from the rest. He gets the nose of his car ahead into turn 1 and uses that to run his opponent wide at the turn exit. He races in the sim the same way as he races in the real world. The best drivers always leave no room in the rules and exploit them to the maximum. Pun intended. Max leaves no room, and he understands his car and trusts his ability. Max was 4/10ths clear in the qualifying for the Bathurst virtual endurance race in the same conditions which were given to each and every competitor. In the real world, gaining 4/10ths could be down to luck by virtue of traffic or getting a slipstream. But in the virtual world, it's a level playing field. Max isn't the only driver to embrace sim racing after racing in the real world. Fernando Alonso, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc and George Russell are some of the examples of drivers. However, many fast drivers in the real world find it hard to get up to speed in the sim. This is down to a few factors. Lack of physical feedback. In real-life racing, drivers receive physical feedback from the car, such as the feeling of the tires gripping the track or the sensation of the car accelerating or decelerating. In sim racing, this physical feedback is not present, which can make it difficult for drivers to gauge the limits of the car and adjust their driving style accordingly. Drivers train with certain sensations as their reference, which are almost completely absent in the sim. Sim racing requires different skills than real-life racing. Drivers need to be able to interpret visual cues, such as the position of other cars on the track, in a way that's not necessary for real-life racing. A notable thing that Max does to gauge the limit of his car while driving is turning the engine volume down and turning the tire volume up. This way, he can hear when the tires start to slide and adjust accordingly. In a real car, you can feel that happening through the pedals, wheel and seat. While sim racing allows drivers to practice on a wide variety of tracks, they may not have the same level of experience on those tracks as they would in real-life racing. This can make it difficult to know the optimal racing line and make adjustments based on the specific characteristics of the track. That being said, Max remarked in an interview that sim drivers are fast, and especially in the top tier of sim drivers, he was surprised to see their input being very close to optimal, although they don't have any real-life track experience. Sim drivers who hone their skills with this apparent lack of feedback generally become very competitive if they're given track time in the real world. One example is Jimmy Broadbent, who built his YouTube career around sim racing and then raced in the Praga Cup, which he eventually won. Now the question is, why is Max so good? Max Vestappen has demonstrated his exceptional driving talent in both real-life racing and sim racing. He has excellent car control, a deep understanding of racing lines and a great sense of timing. Verstappen has been racing since he was a child, and he spent countless hours in simulators honing his skills. He's also competed in several high-profile sim racing events, which have helped him to refine his technique and gain valuable experience. In sim racing, every detail matters. Verstappen is known for his meticulous approach to sim racing, spending hours fine-tuning his setups and practicing on different tracks to ensure that he's always fully prepared. Sim racing requires drivers to be adaptable and quick thinking. Verstappen has demonstrated his ability to adapt to different conditions, and he's known for his strategic racing style. Max gets to know the limit of the car very quickly and has the ability to consistently drive just under it. Even when he overshoots sometimes, he can correct it with minimal inputs. Max also prefers a car with a sharp front end. He generally struggles to generate the same pace with understeer bias setups. He likes the car to point in and rotate with the help of that turn-in. He can then use the brakes to modulate the degree to which the back end comes around. Overall, Max Verstappen's driving style is characterized by precision, aggressiveness, bravery, and adaptability. These qualities have helped him become one of the most successful and exciting drivers in Formula One today and in the realm of sim racing.